Are you over 65, drinking coffee every morning, but still noticing your muscles getting weaker over time? You might be walking a little slower, climbing stairs takes more effort, or your legs just don't feel as strong as they used to. Here's the surprising truth. It's not just age causing this, and it's not just a lack of protein either. There's something simple you can add to your morning coffee that's been shown to help reverse muscle loss, reignite your strength, and help you fight off sarcopenia, which is the age-related loss of muscle mass and function. And I'm not talking about expensive supplements or hitting the gym for hours. I'm talking about a natural, science-backed compound that can turn your daily cup of coffee into a muscle-saving metabolic tool. So, if you're over 65 and want to stay strong, independent, and active without relying on medications, this might be the most important thing you hear today. Now, why does this matter? Because sarcopenia doesn't just affect how you look, it affects your metabolism, your balance, your ability to burn fat, even your risk of falling and developing insulin resistance. In fact, muscle is one of your most protective tissues as you age, and preserving it is critical, not just for movement, but for longevity. Yet most people are missing the real reason their muscle is declining. Let me explain what's really going on inside your body. After 60, your body naturally becomes less efficient at synthesizing muscle from protein. This is called anabolic resistance. You could be eating protein, even exercising, but your cells aren't absorbing the signal. The muscle doesn't rebuild. You break down faster than you repair. So what do we do about it? You have to amplify that muscle building signal, and it turns out one specific nutrient can help you do just that. And you can easily add it to your morning coffee. In this video, I'll show you what this nutrient is and why it's such a game changer for seniors, how it works inside your muscle cells to reverse sarcopenia, what the research shows about timing, absorption, and results, the best form and dosage, and how to combine it with coffee for maximum impact, why most seniors miss this step and end up weak despite eating healthy, and finally, a full protocol to rebuild your strength, starting with one simple daily habit. This is a practical, evidence-based strategy that can help you regain muscle, energy, and confidence naturally. And if you find this helpful, I encourage you to subscribe. I post content just like this every day to help you take control of your health through root cause metabolic strategies. Now let's walk through the science and show you exactly what to add to your coffee tomorrow morning. Most people think muscle loss after 65 is just normal aging, but that's not entirely true. Yes, there is a natural decline in muscle mass with age, but the real reason seniors lose strength so rapidly isn't aging itself. It's something called anabolic resistance. Let me explain this with a simple analogy. Think of your muscles like a house that needs daily repairs. When you're young, every time you eat protein, your body sends in construction workers, amino acids, enzymes, hormones, to patch it up, build new walls, and reinforce the structure. But after 60, your foreman stops responding to the signal. The workers show up, but they're disorganized. The repair slows down, and over time, the house, your muscle tissue, starts crumbling faster than it's being rebuilt. That's anabolic resistance. Your muscle cells become less responsive to protein and exercise signals, and this resistance increases as you age. Now here's what's really happening inside your body. When you consume protein, your body breaks it down into amino acids. These amino acids, especially one called leucine, trigger a pathway called M2 or mechanistic target of rapamycin. M2 or is your body CEP's muscle building switch. It tells your muscle cells time to grow. But in seniors, M2 activation weakens. The same dose of protein that would build muscle at 30 doesn't work as well at 70. So even if you're eating enough protein, you might still be losing muscle. That's why sarcopenia isn't just a nutritional problem. It's a signaling problem. According to a 23 review published in Nutrients, older adults require 30–40% more leucine-rich protein per meal to get the same anabolic response as younger adults. But here's the good news. If we understand this physiology, we can override it naturally. You don't need steroids. You don't need to triple your protein overnight. You simply need to resensitize your muscle cells to the growth signal. And that's where today's coffee strategy comes in. We're going to introduce a nutrient that directly activates M2 or bypasses some of the resistance and helps your body use the protein it already has more efficiently. In fact, clinical studies show that when seniors take this specific amino acid in the right form, their rate of muscle protein synthesis increases significantly even without exercise. But before we get to that, let's quickly touch on something surprising. Your morning coffee isn't just a caffeine kick. It can actually be the ideal metabolic tool to deliver this muscle rebuilding signal. We'll talk about the nutrient in just a moment, but first, if this is helping so far, consider subscribing. I post new videos like this every day to help you take control of your health naturally, using functional medicine and root cause strategies. Now let's get into the star of this strategy, the nutrient you're going to add to your coffee starting tomorrow. The nutrient we're talking about is L-leucine, a branched-chain amino acid, BCAA, and one of the most critical triggers for muscle growth in the human body. Now, I know you, Seb, heard of protein powders and amino acids before, but here, Seb, is what most people and even many doctors overlook. Leucine is just another amino acid. It's the master switch that tells your body to start building muscle. Let me explain this with a simple whiteboard analogy. Imagine you're trying to start a fire. You can have all the wood in the world, that's your protein, but without a spark, it just sits there. Nothing happens. Leucine is the spark. When you consume enough leucine at one time, especially in the morning, it flips on the mTOR pathway we talked about earlier, which tells your muscle cells start growing, repairing, rebuilding. And the beauty is, this can happen even without exercise. Now, of course, resistance training amplifies the effect, but studies have shown that supplemental leucine alone can stimulate muscle protein synthesis in older adults, even when they sit or sedentary. One 2020 study in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that older adults who added leucine to their meals saw a 30% increase in muscle protein synthesis compared to those who didn't. That's a big deal, especially if your body has become resistant to standard dietary protein. But here sits the catch. To activate mTOR, you need a threshold dose of leucine, typically 2.5 to 3 grams per serving, taken all at once. That's the equivalent of eating about 30–40 grams of high-quality protein, like 5 eggs or a full chicken breast, in one sitting. Most seniors don't eat that much protein at breakfast, and as a result, they miss the anabolic window. This is where your morning coffee comes in. Instead of trying to force down a big protein meal, first thing, you can simply add 3 grams of L-leucine powder to your black coffee. It dissolves easily, has no taste, and starts working within 20–30 minutes. You get the muscle growth signal without the heavy meal. This is especially powerful if you're doing intermittent fasting, because leucine doesn't spike insulin significantly and won't break your fast in the traditional sense. It keeps you in a fat-burning state while still supporting muscle preservation. To recap, leucine activates mTOR, the key muscle-building signal. Older adults need more of it to overcome anabolic resistance. Taking 3G in the morning with coffee delivers it quickly and efficiently. And best of all, you'll likely feel the difference within days, better energy, improved stability, and even reduce soreness after basic activity. You might be wondering, why coffee? Why not just take leucine with water or with breakfast? Here sits what the research and your physiology show us. Your first cup of coffee in the morning creates a unique metabolic environment. And if you leverage that window wisely, you can supercharge how your body absorbs and uses nutrients, especially leucine. Let me break this down like a functional medicine whiteboard. When you wake up, your body is in a fasted state. Insulin is low, cortisol is naturally elevated, and that's not a bad thing. Cortisol helps you mobilize stored fat and get mentally alert. Now, here's symptoms where it gets interesting. Caffeine stimulates the sympathetic nervous system, increases blood flow, and temporarily boosts metabolism. This means faster absorption of nutrients and better signaling through the mTOR pathway if the right amino acids are present. So when you combine leucine with black coffee, you get faster absorption through the gut, you get improved delivery into muscle cells, you activate mTOR at a time when your body is highly responsive. This combo creates a perfect metabolic spark, like adding kindling to a fire just as the first flames are catching. But there's another reason this works so well. Coffee, especially black coffee, doesn't contain competing amino acids or glucose that might blunt the leucine signal. When you take leucine with a high-carb breakfast, like oatmeal or fruit, insulin spikes, mTOR gets confused, and the muscle-building signal gets scrambled. With fasted black coffee plus leucine, it sips a clear, undistracted message: build muscle. Now, in fact, a 2022 study in Frontiers in Physiology showed that taking leucine in a low insulin state, like morning fasting, resulted in significantly higher activation of mTOR and greater muscle protein synthesis in older adults than the same dose taken later with a mixed meal. And here, this one more bonus. Many seniors already drink coffee out of habit, which means you're not adding a new routine, just upgrading one. This increases the chance that you'll stick with it consistently, which is the key to seeing real results. So to make this work, brew your morning coffee like normal, preferably black or with unsweetened nut milk. Add 3 grams of pure L-leucine powder. Look for pharmaceutical grade. Stir well. It dissolves easily in hot liquid. Drink it within 30 minutes of waking up for best results. This one shift can preserve and even rebuild lean muscle without adding stress or complexity to your morning. Now, if you're finding this helpful, consider giving this video a like and subscribing. I post clear science-backed strategies like this every day for those serious about reclaiming their health naturally. Now that you understand why leucine is the spark for muscle growth and how your morning coffee creates the perfect delivery system, let's talk specifics. What's the best form of leucine? How much should you take and when? Let's get straight to it. Form matters. Choose free form L-leucine powder. When it comes to supplementation, not all leucine is created equal. You want pure free form L-leucine powder, not blends, not BCA capsules, and not whey protein with a little leucine in it. Why? Because to overcome anabolic resistance, especially after age 65, your body needs a precise therapeutic dose of leucine delivered quickly in isolation. Protein powders often contain too little leucine per scoop, and if taken with other amino acids or carbs, the muscle signal gets diluted. Look for a supplement that lists L-leucine as the sole ingredient, ideally pharmaceutical grade, unflavored, and third-party tested. It should dissolve in hot liquid and contain no fillers, sweeteners, or additives. How much? 2.5 to 3 grams per serving. This is the leucine threshold dose, the amount required to trigger mTOR and initiate muscle protein synthesis. This dose mimics what younger individuals naturally produce from a high-protein meal, but in older adults, it must be intentionally supplemented. Here, such as a quick visual analogy. Think of mTOR like a garage door. For young people, it lifts easily with a small push. For older adults, the spring is worn. You need more pressure to get it moving. That extra pressure is your 3G dose of leucine. When to take it? First thing in the morning. The first 30-60 minutes after waking is what I call the anabolic window. Your body is insulin sensitive, digestion is clean, hormones are primed, and there's no competing food blocking the signal. This is why combining leucine with black coffee during this window maximizes its absorption and effect. Bonus tip: if you're doing intermittent fasting or time-restricted eating, leucine can be taken alone and won't significantly spike insulin. It supports muscle preservation during a fasted state, which is crucial for fat loss without strength loss. What to avoid? Avoid combining leucine with high-carb breakfasts like toast, cereal, or fruit smoothies. Whey or plant protein blends that already contain a mix of BCA, artificial sweeteners, gums, or additives that interfere with gut absorption. Cold drinks at one set dissolve well. If you're using this strategy consistently, most people notice improved energy, muscle tone, and even fewer leg cramps or falls within 10-14 days. And here's the best part: you don't need to take it forever. Once you rebuild strength and metabolic sensitivity, your body becomes more responsive to protein naturally. Now that we've nailed down the form, dose, and timing, let's talk about something even more exciting. What else happens inside your body when you preserve muscle, and why this coffee habit may be the key to reversing insulin resistance and boosting metabolism after 65. By now, you understand how adding leucine to your coffee can help rebuild muscle after 65. But here's what most people don't realize. Preserving muscle isn't just about strength. It's about metabolism, blood sugar, fat burning, hormones, even your brain. Let me explain what's really going on inside your body when you lose muscle, and why this simple coffee protocol has benefits far beyond the mirror. Muscle is your primary metabolic engine. Even at rest, muscle tissue burns 3 times more energy than fat. So when you lose muscle, your basal metabolic rate drops, meaning you burn fewer calories, even if your diet doesn't change. This is one reason why many people gain fat more easily after 60, even if they're eating healthy. It's not a food problem, it's a muscle problem. Now here's where things connect. Less muscle, less glucose, uptake, more insulin resistance. Muscle is the main storage site for glucose. Every time you eat carbs, your body relies on muscle tissue to absorb and buffer the sugar. When that muscle mass shrinks, glucose has nowhere to go, so it stays in the blood, triggering chronically high insulin. Over time, this leads to belly fat, that one set budge, brain fog and fatigue, higher triglycerides, prediabetes or diabetes, and accelerated aging at the cellular level. But the opposite is also true. Rebuild muscle and you restore insulin sensitivity. Even just a 10% increase in lean muscle mass can dramatically improve blood sugar control and fat burning without changing your diet. And that's exactly what this leucine plus coffee habit helps you do. But it gets even better. Preserving muscle also supports hormonal balance, especially testosterone, DHEA, and growth hormone. Joint protection, stronger muscles mean less strain on bones and ligaments. Cognitive function. Studies link higher muscle mass to better memory and lower dementia risk. Inflammation control. Muscle helps produce anti-inflammatory myokines. Immune health. Sarcopenia is now considered a risk factor for poor immunity in aging adults. In other words, muscle is not just tissue, it's an organ of longevity. A 2021 study in the Journal of Cachexia, Sarcopenia, and Muscle found that seniors with higher muscle mass had a 40% lower risk of all-cause mortality over 5 years. So while a scoop of leucine in your coffee might feel small, it's actually sending a big signal to your entire physiology. Let's stay strong. Let's stay resilient. Let's stay metabolically young. In the next section, we're going to tie everything together into one simple daily protocol, so you know exactly what to do tomorrow morning to get results. And if you're still watching, thank you. Consider liking this video. If it's bringing clarity and value, it helps others like you find it and encourages me to keep sharing root cause practical solutions every day. Let's finish strong with the step-by-step protocol. Let's bring everything together into one clear, simple routine, something you can start tomorrow morning with minimal effort but maximum impact. Here's your leucine plus coffee morning protocol to fight sarcopenia and rebuild strength after 65. Step 1. Wake up. Hydrate. First, within 5-10 minutes of waking, drink a glass of water with a pinch of sea salt or a squeeze of lemon. This rehydrates your body, supports digestion, and gently stimulates cortisol, your natural morning energy hormone. Step 2. Brew your coffee. Black preferred. Make your regular cup of black coffee, no added sugar, no heavy cream. If needed, use unsweetened almond or coconut milk. Just avoid anything that spikes insulin or contains additives that interfere with absorption. Step 3. Add 3 grams of L-leucine powder. Measure 3 grams of pharmaceutical-grade L-leucine powder, roughly 3/4 of a teaspoon. Stir it into your coffee while it's hot. It dissolves best in heat and has no real taste. Tip: if you're sensitive to taste or texture, blend the coffee briefly for better mixing. Step 4. Drink it within 30-60 minutes of waking. Timing matters. The first hour of your day is when your body is primed to absorb nutrients, trigger fat burning, and support muscle growth, especially when insulin is low. Optional: eat 30-60 minutes later. You can remain in a fasted state for a while longer to amplify fat burning. But when you do eat, make sure it's a high-protein meal. Eggs, grass-fed beef, or wild-caught fish with some healthy fats and low-starch vegetables. Step 5. Light movement. Optional but powerful. Even 5-10 minutes of light resistance, bodyweight squats, wall push-ups, resistance bands, after your coffee can amplify the M2 signal and accelerate muscle response. Think of it like telling your body, we said you're using this muscle, keep it strong. Consistency is key. Use this protocol at least 5 days a week for 2-4 weeks before assessing results. Most people notice improved leg strength, less soreness or fatigue after walking, better blood sugar stability, and a noticeable change in body tone. Bonus benefit: many report improved mental clarity and mood within days, likely due to better glucose handling and mitochondrial energy in the brain. And again, this doesn't mean you have to do intense workouts or overhaul your diet overnight. This is about sending the right signal to your body daily, consistently. Muscle doesn't disappear overnight, but it can be rebuilt faster than most people think if you create the right internal environment. And this is one of the easiest ways to start: a scoop of leucine in your coffee every morning. Let's recap what we've uncovered and why this one simple change to your morning coffee can help you stop muscle loss, restore your strength, and feel more energized after 65. Here's sips. What's sips really going on inside your body? After age 60, your muscles become resistant to growth signals, a condition called anabolic resistance. Eating protein alone is often not enough to trigger muscle building because the mTOR pathway is set being fully activated. Leucine, a specific amino acid, acts as a spark that turns on that growth switch, but only if you get enough of it at one time. Your morning coffee, especially in a fasted state, provides the perfect metabolic window to absorb and utilize that leucine efficiently. By adding 3 grams of L-leucine to your coffee, you activate muscle growth, improve insulin sensitivity, and support metabolism, all without changing your entire routine. Now, why does this matter? Because muscle is your metabolic engine. It burns fat. It regulates blood sugar. It protects your bones. It keeps you moving confidently and independently as you age. Losing muscle accelerates aging. but building it even a little adds years to your life and life to your years. And you don't need a gym, heavy weights, or expensive protein shakes. You need the right signal in the right window with the right nutrient. That's what this leucine plus coffee protocol gives you. Now here spits your challenge. Try it for the next 7 mornings. Wake up, hydrate, brew your black coffee, stir in 3 grams of L-leucine, optional. Do a few minutes of light resistance movement and just observe how your body responds. Energy, strength, stability, even mood. Track how you feel. Notice if stairs feel easier, if your legs feel steadier, if your appetite and energy stabilize through the day. Then imagine what that could mean after 30 days, 60 days. This isn't just about muscle. It's about reclaiming your metabolic youth, 1 cup at a time. If this video added value, do me a favor, like the video. It helps others find it. Subscribe to the channel. I post science-backed strategies like this every day, and share it with a friend or parent who needs to know muscle loss isn't just aging, it's something we can address naturally.